absolutely fascinating stone feature here. So you see how it's been all carved away all around at the bottom? I mean, I may be an amateur archaeologist, but I ain't no geologist. And this to me just looks like telltale signs of water erosion, and specifically of perhaps this being right at the shore of a sea, so the waves would be lapping up against this, you know, moving up around to the top side of it, and then pulling back again and going out to sea. Any geologists out there, please chime in. And any of you who may know a geologist, please share this with them. So this is where we're starting this exciting video. Next, we're going to head to this incredible site. This site has massive boulders. I'll show you over a ton boulders, and several of them piled on top of a smaller mound type thing made with small stones. It's got a potential earthen mound, which I have not seen before, and it's got several of these built up, placed constructions in stone that look to be ruined over thousands of years of time. And it also has a bunch of this infrastructure, I call, which refers to, it's mainly, it looks like, what are they called? Retaining walls, with using very big boulders to retain or create terraces, and just to make a leveled off surface that isn't eaten away by earth or fall into sea potentially. So we're going to the lowest site in my whole journeys that I found just recently, actually a couple of months ago at the just in the spring. So that you'll see an outfit change here for Ranger Steve, amateur archaeologist, amateur geologist Steve, and we're heading over there. It's just, so I found this, it's maybe 100 meters from where all the clusters of stones are. So come on with me and let's check a little further into this Champlain Sea theory I got going. Hey buddy, what shall we call this guy? He looks friendly. He looks water eroded. Okay, we've arrived here. And we have the telltale basswood trees, the only ones that grow out of these things. But what we're here to see, the main attraction right here, is this amazing stone wall that ends at the tree, and it ends right there at the corner. But look at this construction. We've got a bit of a collapse right here, but otherwise beautifully intact. Beautiful, just very cool stonework here. Really nice. But then, okay, well, what do we have here? Look at the size of these guys. This stone here weighs a few tons, as do the rest of these. And believe it or not, they're piled on top. See, there's a stone mound here. These guys have been put on top of it. So zero logic in terms of a modern construction. And then here's this wall, also quite illogical. If you're just making a wall, why would you make it 8 feet wide and yet only about 40 feet long from there to here? So look at this. Yeah, I think I'll just keep on walking through this a bit. It ends here, somewhat punctuated, but certainly closed and ended here by this just colossal wall, just enormous thick wall, and then all of this business. All of this business. These placed on top of these in, I mean, it looks like rubble, like no order. Oh, this one's moving. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna hop down off of this one. But, yeah. Anyway, so this is a great example of a massive one put on top of all of this stuff here. Boom. This guy. But then you can see, okay, there it is. I'm gonna let Spring Ranger Steve take over the rest of the site. It's all in about 2 acres, 2 to 3 acre site. Massive basswood here. Gorgeous tree. What do you all make of this? Please share with archaeologists, with geologists, and hopefully we're gonna crack some of this year. I can feel it. To call infrastructure, because it really seems like a retaining wall. It's really balanced on an outcrop here, very steep going down to the lake there. It's like it's augmenting natural terrace, or it's a retaining wall for something that has since, mostly disintegrated, but there's just these little markers here left. If it was a real more recent retaining wall, you'd see the whole thing still doing its job, but this seems to start and stop, disappear. So it's either extremely old, or it was built to look extremely old by those forever prankster farmers that had nothing better to do than to play pranks in stone on no one. And here we see more of that terracing or foundation wall stuff, seeming to reinforce going down to very steep pitch to the lake there. Now this is not a property line, quite sure, because it is so wavy here. And yeah, this is certainly quite a construction here that may have served as a retaining wall. It's extremely steep down there, but you really wonder, you wonder how old this is, right? Now these, at the end here of this so-called retaining wall, these are really, really big boulders, a few 100 pounds. You need machinery to make this, and usually if you've got machinery out to make something like this, it doesn't end up looking like it's been crumbling for thousands of years. But if you have a look at the size of these boulders, they are they're hundreds of pounds for sure, and they were stacked here. And these are really solid cliff faces here. You just gotta wonder, with these natural retaining walls here, how much use, a little additional wall piling would be right there. And so the question is, why? Right, we have these big cliffs here, natural retaining walls, and then at the top of them, piled big, huge half-ton stones piled at the top. Just for an idea of size here, I wanted to put my glove there so you can see. These are really large stones. This kind of looks like the beginning of that so-called retainer wall, and it seems to start with a grand cairn or stone mound here. Really quite a large one. And then what's really interesting to note, I'll say here, is that I know I've mentioned that I haven't found any of these anywhere below 220 meters, the old shores of the Champlain Sea. This site here is right at 226 meters. So the shore would have been, you know, right about where this retainer wall was built. And so I don't know if the proximity to the lake has anything to do with that. I'm going to have a look at that lake and where it might go in terms of topography and elevation. But yeah, I thought that was interesting to note. This is the lowest site I've found. They're usually up closer to 300 meters. This is down at 226, right at the shores of that ancient sea. Vermont's just over that away. And I see this over and over again, just great intention to shore up, to stack those, the base of a construct so that it keeps its shape. And so you see there's a real rounded shape to this one. And on this side is a big boulder. But yeah, and then there's another one right over there. Thought this was kind of noteworthy, little mini construct. I don't know how long that's been there for, but just if you can see, there's the next one. This site has them all really close together, and this one I thought was pretty cute. This one here is on a steep hillside here, and to me it does not look like this stuff I call infrastructure or retaining wall. This looks like some sort of a ceremonial shape construct. It's a pretty one. This one here is a cute little boulder stacked construct cairn, and it's right at 222, so right at the shore of the sea. The land goes down and the lake is down there, but this would be right at the shoreline. I thought it was interesting. Here we have a big long sort of pile row wall with it's really hard to tell here whether this was an actual clearing pile from the farmers, but there's just huge boulders there. I can't imagine those were placed on top of the smaller rocks as we've seen in some other places, but there definitely seems to be some order to the way these rocks here were placed here. And so up from those big boulders there, the rounded end, it stops definitely right there. There's a gap, and then it picks up again here where we do have actual intentioned wall construction here. Just at the base of this big tree that is probably busted through it. And we've got these big ones here. Yeah, it's it's hard to say, you know, if this is a clearing mound, clearing the field of stones, then why all the work at building such a square wall like this? I mean, look at the way they really fit them together quite nicely there. And here it seems like, yeah, it ends again here, and it's sort of rounded here. The stones are sort of completed here as an end, as opposed to just trailing off. And then there's this, which seems quite mound-like, but and there's more stones here, all on the same site. And then I really don't want to jump to any conclusions here, but this definitely seems like a peculiar earthen mound here. It's about probably 12 feet tall, and you have these stones here. I mean, it certainly does look interesting. Could this be a mound? And what's the association of these boulders all around the base? Were they maybe part of it at some point? And then look at that cute little pile there. Yeah, what is this? We've got some stones embedded in it here. Yeah, there seems to be some big stones in it. It seems to like those are sort of part of it, and then it comes up here into this ridge here, and there's, you know, maybe they did get a big backhoe up here, so there's stones throughout, stones in this mound. I mean, I just don't know. Look, on either side they've got stones on the front part, or yeah. What do you think? I gotta say, just because I've seen a site sort of like this before, and I don't think this is a practical, I believe this is a ritualistic ceremonial site, and so my hunch is that all these big stones are placed on top of little stones, and I wonder if we just take a little look here. Yeah, there's stone. These are placed on top of stones here. If you just uncover the leaves, you're gonna see more stone. Yeah, so they're placed, these are on top of stones. These were placed on top. The mound was built, and then these big suckers were placed on top. Wow. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. I sure enjoyed finding it. It is something else. This site here, right at the shores of that ancient Champlain Sea. And we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere this year. Mark my words. Thanks for sticking with me. Please share with anyone you think might be interested, especially archaeologists and geologists. And till the next time, from the stone mysteries of West Quebec, Ranger Steve.